In the 1930s, the Soviet Union was the fastest-growing country in the world. Steel, coal, and electricity production soared, and massive factories and cities were rising. American journalist Lincoln Steffens visited the Soviet Union and famously said, "I have seen the future, and it works." And it wasn't hard to see why. From 1928 to the 1960s, the Soviet national income grew steadily 6% per year. Paul Samuelson, Nobel Prize-winning economist, predicted in the 1961 edition of his textbook Economics, an introductory analysis, that the Soviet Union would overtake the United States between 1984 and 1997. But that prediction never came true. And more importantly, it never could have. The book Why Nations Fail offers a structural explanation. The Soviet Union achieved undeniably impressive results. In the 1930s, under Stalin's 5-year plans, the government built factories, dams, and railways across vast territories. The Dnieper hydroelectric station became one of the largest in the world. Steel output tripled within a decade, and coal and electricity production exploded. Amid the Great Depression crippling capitalist nations, these numbers made the Soviet economy seem unstoppable. But this growth was not the result of a free market or individual creativity. It was built on forced mobilization and fear. Millions of peasants were stripped of their land and moved to cities. Many ended up in gulags, forced labor camps. In the freezing cold, they built roads, factories, and quarries. They were paid not in wages, but with surveillance, violence, and death. The Soviet economy ran like a furnace, consuming human lives as its fuel. Workers who failed to meet production quotas were punished. Factory managers resorted to absurdities, like producing oversized, useless nails just to hit weight targets. Why Nations Fail argues that the real problem with the Soviet economy was its extractive institutions. There were no economic incentives. Political power was highly centralized. Ordinary citizens had no share in the growth they helped produce. The result? By the 1970s, the Soviet growth rate began to stagnate rapidly. Innovation halted, productivity flatlined, and yet, Paul Samuelson's 1980s edition still predicted that the Soviet Union would catch up with the U.S. He was one of the most influential economists of the Cold War era, but he failed to see inside the authoritarian system. And this is how the book explains it.
Rapid economic growth under extractive institutions was possible only because a highly centralized state allocated maximum resources to industry. But like all such cases, Soviet growth lacked technological innovation and sustainability. There has never been a single case where an extractive society achieved sustained economic growth.